Hello everybody and welcome back to another Axis and Allies 1914 house rule variant type video. And here we're looking at Russia, and as you can see it's different because as what I've done is I've created this custom map patch that you can put on your board. So instead of creating an entirely new custom map, it's kind of just like a printed out paper that you can just slide right on top of there. You can secure it with maybe clips or tape or however you want to do it, but it can slide on and off, your choice. So essentially this is a variant map or like a custom patch map to Russia. This affects Russia, and I did this because as you can see we've added a couple new territories, and the reasoning behind this is that I always had a problem with how the out-of-box game did the geography of Russia, the territories and such. I mean, I understand why they did it. I mean, the big thing that everybody points out, or a lot of people do, is that Petrograd was the capital of Russia during the war, not Moscow, how it is out-of-box. And I understand why the designers made Moscow the capital, to have a more central location. And I understand that, so to compensate, to make it historically accurate, give Petrograd the capital. So now we have a problem. Their problem was that they want a central production center. So I just did a similar thing here. As you can see, we have blue city called Kazan. That's the same, similar to how the British have Bombay in India. Kazan is another production center for Russia. So when you're using this map variant, Russia's capital is Petrograd. They can produce there like normal. But they also, like the British, can produce units in Kazan. And just like the British, these represent troops coming from the Far East in Asia and Siberia, all the Russian territories out there. So Kazan's a good location for that. So it's so that way Russia can produce in the northern region and in the southern region. And Kazan was kind of like a railway hub for the Trans-Siberian, so it makes sense if they're coming from that direction, just like with Bombay in India. So that's why I chose that territory. It's also far from the front, so it's safe. So what else do we have with this map? So that's basically the new rules. What else about this map? So the only changes I made, I tried to keep it simple and not change the out of box too much, adjust the mess with the balance too much. So basically what I did was Russia still starts with 25 IPCs. They have 2 new territories, I'll get to in a second, but they still have this. I kept the same IPCs. Basically Moscow, the IPCs were split, the 6 were split between Moscow and the new territory Petrograd, so 3 and 3. Karelia I renamed to Archangel, a little more accurate. Let's keep it with the city names, I guess. I just like it better. You guys can complain, but it's not a big deal. So kept the 2 IPCs there. Finland's the same. I did make one change with Finland, is that this new Archangel territory cuts off the sea access, which would be more historically accurate. It makes more sense. If you were to invade Finland, you'd have to come from the Baltic. You wouldn't be able to come in from the top. And the border is with Norway, so that's more historically accurate. And so that's that area over here in Kazan. So same IPCs. So essentially Sevastopol was split into Sevastopol and the Caucasus. I did this because I felt like it made more sense. It was just way too big of a territory. Sevastopol and Caucasus are 2 different places. So I just split the IPCs from the 3 to the 2 and 1. And yeah, everything else is the same. So what's changed with the setup? So the setup for all the untouched territories are the same. Tartarstan's all the same. The only changes in the setup are the, forgot one. The 6th Infantry and 2 Artillery in Moscow are split evenly, so 3 and 1, 3 and 1 in Petrograd and Moscow, just like with the IPC, split them evenly. Karelia still has the 1. Livonia, Belarus, none of those were touched. And then Tartarstan's still the same. And then Sevastopol, all those units are moved to Caucasus because I wanted to keep Russia's option to invade Mesopotamia. I wanted to keep the odds the same, so not to mess with the game balance. So I moved them all to Caucasus. In addition, I gave 1 new infantry for Russia, is on Sevastopol that way. They do have more territories to cover, so they get 1 extra infantry, and it gives them the option to move into Romania and activate that on their first turn. Just like they would if they were to use Sevastopol garrison. And yeah, that is it for the game. So you can use this in your game if you'd like. Change up the game a little bit. Be interesting to have Petrograd as a capital. It's still the same amount of spaces away from Poland or the Central Powers. It's even if you're producing Moscow, 2 spaces, you can go Livonia, Belarus. Same with Petrograd, you can go Livonia, Poland. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's still the same. So yeah, it'll mix up the game a little bit. For those wondering what this means for the Russian Civil War Revolution rules, that house rule set, if you want to use these in combination, essentially the only changes is that when you're doing the setup, anytime it mentions Karelia, yeah, that means Petrograd. Just put in Petrograd for Karelia whenever you're doing that setup, so that we have to remove units from Petrograd, and then the Soviets would start with Petrograd. And keeping it historical accuracy, the Soviets' capital would be Moscow, because historically they did, when they took over, they moved it to Moscow. And the Imperials would have to take Moscow as well. And yeah, that is it. Hope you guys like this variant. The file for this map will be in the description of the video, and you can just print it out on an 11x17. And yeah, that is it. Hope y'all can enjoy it, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.